What's good, everybody? Injured here, going to be bringing you another in-depth guide, this time with Taya. And I think she is just one of the best characters. I have so much fun with her, so I hope you enjoy. So first off, we're going to cover her skills. And again, I don't just read the skills. I believe you all should have close to the ability to read, so go ahead and read them, but I will give you the gist of what they do. And then I will give you a bit of pros and cons. And then I will give you their Battlerites and go over their Battlerites. So first off, her M1, which is Razor Boomerang, basically just deals damage. And so there is a unique piece of this where it passes through people, and so you can deal damage to multiple targets. She is the lone range currently that can hit multiple targets with her skills. And so as you see, that can allow her to do some very big damage. And it's important to try to hit multiple targets when possible, and it can often be better to switch targets and to hit multiple targets instead of just focusing the one, unless the one, of course, is about to die and you're trying to get somebody off the battlefield. But keep in mind, try to hit multiple targets. Now, second is X Strike, which is on her M2, and it sends out 2 boomerangs and will hit in an arc. And so we'll show you this. There's the arc, and it goes down to that point. You'll see the point on the ground around my cursor. That's where they hit. So there's actually a minimum cast range and a maximum cast range. As you can see, there's the maximum, and here's the minimum. So you can see I'm clicking well inside where that circle is going. And so the thing to remember about this is when somebody is very close on you, it can be hard to hit them. So often somebody's probably meleeing you, they're right around here, and if I casting to try to hit them, you'll see it's going to miss. Now, of course, I hit that person in the back, but what I'm saying is it's going to be very difficult to hit somebody who's right on top of you. And so what do you do when somebody's right on top of you and you're trying to hit them with X Strike? Because it does have a bit of a stun on it, so it can help you get away a little bit. Well, the answer is easy in principle, but can be quite difficult actually in practice, is you actually have to cast away from them. So you need to flick your mouse and then cast over to the side. And as you see, I hit that first person. And so that is something that you're going to want to work on. A good way to work on that, I'm going to come over here, is with this moving target. And so this moving target can actually, so you kind of time it, you hit them on the side. Now, that's a little bit easy, but now as you're coming here, and I'm making this look really easy because I'm picking bad times, but it's something that you want to practice with and really get good at to be good with her. And so I'm going to talk, actually back up while I'm here and talk about her M1. Her M1 has a really important quality to it. The return of her boomerang will not trigger counters. And so let's say this moving dummy is a Shifu, and I'm in a duel with a Shifu, and I know that Shifu has his counter up, and I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? So I will often miss on purpose and then hit on the way back, as you see like that. So you try to aim close, make them use the counter, and then bam, you hit them on the way back. And then typically by the time it comes back to you, your next M1 will be able to hit them straight up because their counter's done. So try to keep that in mind when dueling, is you can do that. So her space is called haste, and basically it just makes you move fast, but then it empowers your M1s, so that's something to keep in mind. So you will see as I cast my M1, they're just kind of orange. When I hit haste, they become blue like that. And so they do improve damage, and so they do 15 damage instead of the usual, and they do 12 on the way back instead of 6. So it's actually a significant amount of damage, and I think it's smart to try to use that as much as you can. And so haste is going to be used as one of her kiting skills. She can get out of situations for that, and she'll be able to basically not have a melee stay on her combined with her other attack, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But she's very, very strong against melees. And the other thing that is really good about haste is, again, it does that burst damage. And so you can help get the last little bit of damage in on somebody as you're trying to kill them. So don't use it just for kiting. Sometimes you want to use it for pursuing. And then we have Wind Strike here, which does an AoE knockback like that. And it totally displaces a lot around you. So as you see, huge pushback there. I'm going to kill these for later. And it can really make a big difference as far as your ability to survive against melee. And that's what I was saying before about her being really good against melee, is when melee come up on you, you're able to knock them back, do some M1s. As they come in on you, you use your haste and you keep M1ing, backing up, doing damage to them. So very, very strong kiter. So use that wisely. You want to typically try to have your space or your wind strike up, your Q or your space up at any time. There are, a few moments where you're going to use both of them to get very far away from somebody, but in those instances, then they should not be able to get back near you, because if they get on you and you have no escape, it's going to be very difficult to deal with them. So her wind bomb, which is different than her wind strike, you cast and it pulls them in. It actually does no damage, and it doesn't help you get any energy, so it is strictly utility. And now a big combo that is really important to use with her, though, is your wind bomb X strike combo. And so you pull people in, and I'll show you here. I actually cast my wind strike before the wind bomb even lands. So while the wind bomb's in the air, you're already casting, as you see there, and it does huge damage. And now something that I've been using a lot more recently is wind bomb into spinning Boomerang, which is her X strike EX skill. So it's your EXM2. So you cast it, and then immediately, see how fast that comes out. It does so much damage. So normally this would do 14 damage on a hit, and it says you deals 6 bonus damage if you hit both Boomerangs. So most likely, though, you're going to do 14, quite possibly 20. But this does 16 on the way there, and then 24 on the way back. That's huge damage. Huge damage. So try to set up that combo if you can. So E into EX, right click, boom. Something to keep in mind with that, though, I'm going to go back over to this guy moving, is that depending upon how close you are, you actually can miss your EX because of how fast it comes out. So I cast that one a little bit to the side on accident there, but and he was right on there. But you see, I had to move again then to make it hit him. You can miss it, I promise. You can miss it, and that's very important to not miss that and time it wrong. And so, yeah, depending upon how that goes, you want to be really careful. So I'll cast this like this, and as you see, oh, I just barely got it. But believe me, you can miss. I didn't do a good job of showing you there, but you can miss. So make sure to play with that and kind of learn it. And then her EXQ, let's say this bat guy is your healer, and these two people are pressuring your healer. So your EXQ is a little dash, and let me show it to you here. And then it does the knockback. So if that was your teammate wouldn't have got knocked back, but what it does is it helps create space for somebody else and gives you a little bit of movement. It can also help you dodge skills. So if you're going to be hit by something that could kill you, use your EXQ to move a little bit and hopefully dodge it. But keep in mind that this is a dash. You are not actually getting vertical, so you have no immunity or invulnerability frames, but you are going to be able to move quickly, which will hopefully help you miss a projectile. So you can still be hit and killed in that. And then Tornado is on her R. Tornado just basically puts you up in a tornado, and then you fall down where your mouse is. And so there's a couple really good things with this. It helps you be invulnerable. So this will make you invulnerable if you have a Croak ult or a Lucy Deadly Inject, something like that on you, and you can avoid the damage. It'll help you avoid, a couple shots of Jade's ultimate or, Snipe. It just lets you dodge stuff. But the other benefit to that is if you're taking huge pressure, your space is down, your Q is down, you don't know what to do, well, you can use Tornado, and you can jump over walls. So if you have a larger wall like this, you come up over, and it gives you quite a bit of space because now they got to come around the wall. So this can also be cast on allies, so that's important to think. So as your allies here, you put him up, he's able to avoid, and then it can get them out of a sticky situation. Now be careful though not to use it on somebody who is about to get a kill or something like that, because again, any of these types of skills can totally goof up your teammate instead of help them. So keep that in mind. Now her ultimate, she summons her mount at her mouse location, at the target location. So you'll see it comes in, hits, it does damage, you see it hits there, and then it gives her auto attacks that bonus. The bonus from before does more damage, and she actually attacks quite a bit faster in my opinion. So here's her normal attack speed, as you see there, and then we'll call her ultimate in, and look at that. Before it even comes back to her, she's sending out another one. So she can really put out some serious damage with this. Something to keep in mind though is that if your shield breaks that the mount gives you, you get dismounted and you lose your ultimate. And that can be pretty devastating. So make sure to use it wisely at a time when you will be able to stay on your mount. Also, you don't get your shield until the mount hits you. So if you're using it to try to survive to get the shield, you got to make sure that your mount gets to you before before the enemy will kill you, which means that you may want to cast it very short as possible, because that means it'll get to you quicker, and then that'll mean you get your shield quicker. So just a few things to keep in mind. And other than that, those are basically her skills and some tips and some little tricks for you to use with her skills. And so I'm going to put the pros and cons up here on the screen as we transition into her Battlerites. So the first one to me is a little situational. This is one of the things that I really like about Taya, is that Taya has a lot of versatility in her Battlerites. And so first you have Cyclone. It means enemies get knocked back. They take a little bit extra damage from your Q. And if they hit a wall, they get stunned, which can be good, and it's a little bit situational, but I think anytime there's two melees on the team, this is a very strong pickup. This one gives your haste, your space, does an AoE, increase the speed to all your teammates. This is actually the weakest of the three, in my opinion, but it can be used well and can help your team survive a bit. And then Cold Wind, which basically means that your auto attacks will put a slow on them while hasting. So as I'm moving, you'll see, he died, that the fading snare will hit here. So you see snare, snare, and the thing that's good about that is that the return of the boomerang applies it. So it says it's only about 1.5 seconds, but it's actually a little bit more than that, because if you hit them with both, they'll be slowed for even longer. So I think that one's actually quite strong, especially if you spec into some of the other stuff. So Bandit is your wind strike heals for 10. This can be good if you don't have a healer, and it can also be good if you're getting tunneled really hard. It'll help keep you topped off and will help your healer keep you up. So if there's a lot of melee, that could be one to consider. The X-Strike deals 8 additional damage where its boomerang intersects. That's that small little circle on the ground. I rarely take this one because I think it has to be like really perfectly, aligned to hit. And so the amount of times that happens, I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Whereas that's why I often either get Bandit or I'll get Vortex. And the reason I've been getting Vortex recently is because it will hold the people in line for my EXM2. So it holds them there for a little bit, and they're more likely to get hit on the return for even bigger damage. Round 3, Tornado grants you haste. When you exit, the X-Strike can heal you, and then Wind Bomb reduces the cooldown of X-Strike. I don't ever get this one. I've seen some people get it. I never get it, because in my mind, I'm only using Wind Bomb to combo with my X-Strike, and so I don't really care about that 2 seconds off if it hits, because I want it to be in the air before it hits. And with that, my skill rotation, typically they're up at about the same time. So you see, I typically cast E first, which is a 10-second cooldown, and then I cast X-Strike, which is a 4-second cooldown. I'm sorry, 6-second cooldown, which is a 4-second difference. But usually I cast my E, cast my M2, and then I'm doing some M1 trading and repositioning myself. And so then by the time I'm ready to do a combo again, it's kind of up. Maybe I may be mistaken here, and I'd have better damage output, but I've often had rounds in the 800, plus damage. So I don't know. I don't ever get this one. If you don't have a healer, this one's good, but I will often get Breeze, because I think Breeze is just really good. Because like I said, you use your R on yourself, you come over, now you have haste and you're moving fast, and you're doing more damage because your M1s get that bonus, and you're slowing people because of what you got before. I just think it's great synergy with everything else that you got going on. So the next round, it really depends. Oops, I accidentally already selected, but sorry. So Slayer, which you do increase damage to low health people. Razor Boomerang hits reduce cooldown of haste, which lets you be more mobile, which can be good if you're taking a lot of pressure. And then the Inspiration, I actually think this one can be quite good if you're doing a lot of your EX M2s into comboing and that type of stuff. I think this one can be really good, because that way you'll be able to use your combo into an ult, etc., things like that. But I often end up getting Slayer. This one I probably get the least, or maybe Meditation, I don't know. I often get Slayer just because I want to kill people quicker with her. And now her ultimate one, to be honest, I think is one of the weakest of the ultimate things to grab. And so this is why. So the first one is hits while mounted, extend the shield duration. And so as I talked about, you get a shield. And so as you hit your M1s, your shield will stay, which is okay. But again, if your shield gets broken, you get dismounted anyways. So this might not even come into play. And then this one is that your hits while mounted heal you. Well, if you're topped off, you don't need the heal if your healer, has been doing a good job or whatever. And then if you're shielded, your healer will be able to keep you up I just think it's like 6 of one, half dozen over the other. Like, you don't really know which one's going to be the best to benefit you at the time. Like, are you going to be full health and you want more shield, or are you going to be low health and you want to heal? You're just not going to know in the situation. So basically, I say just pick one. If you don't have a healer, pick the heal one for sure. But this one, like I said, is kind of 6 of one, half dozen or of the other. So those are my picks for the Battlerites, and a little bit of some tips and tricks for her different skills. Taya is an amazing, versatile hero that has lots of mobility and can put out lots of damage. So I hope this helps, and I hope you have fun with Taya, as she is my favorite character. I hope you guys enjoy this clip and it helps you understand how to play her in a round. Have a good one. Like most rounds, we start off with our poke. You'll notice that I hit my combo, immediately hitting 2 of them, doing a lot of damage. I then get sniped and have to worry a little bit, but then use my haste to engage. Like I said, you can use your haste to chase, which can be really, really powerful. And so I come back because I wasn't really able to get anyone in position. Bako jumps in, he gets pushed back by my Q. I miss my combo there, which is okay, that happens. And so we have mid position now, so I think it's a good idea to take the center sphere, which we do. Bako continues to eat a lot of pressure, and here we go. I hit a combo again onto the Jade. It basically immediately takes rid of the shield that was on. I have my ultimate, and I see that Lucy's way out of position, so I'm putting a ton of pressure onto Lucy, and I actually missed quite a few M1s, so I think we might have been able to kill her there if I wasn't going to hit it. And then here comes the combo again, stopping the Jade ultimate. Bako's now putting pressure. I use haste to get away from the Bako, and you see I'm always trying to kite. I want to be in a position where I can do damage but not take damage, and so it's really important. And here comes the combo again, and she's just able to heal through it, as I wasn't able to get my X strike off because of that silence. So here comes the X strike, just gonna miss. I get hit with a deadly inject, use a tornado not to take the damage, grab the energy so I get the ultimate, and I follow up with my haste because of the perk I took for the tornado. So I cast my ultimate, I'm coming in, I pick up the sphere while I can since it was a free hit, try to get in onto the Jade, and again, keeping my distance in a way that I'm safe. I do miss the combo there, but our Croak finishes her off. So easy to say, just try to keep your distance as much as possible. Do as much damage to them without taking any damage. I hope you guys liked this video. Please be sure to like and comment, letting me know who you'd like to see next. Thanks, guys.